Hello there, it's Chris here from Becker's Models. Now today I'm going to do what is for me an inspiration build because I recently stumbled across a master model maker. His name's Jemo Kang from Korea. He's got a fantastic channel at Grunjulina Craft Workshop. Here's a link, I'll put a link up on the screen, that side I think it is. Please go subscribe straight away, it's a fantastic channel. If you love your plastic modelling a little bit left or right of centre, he's your guy to go for. I love listening to his videos, I watch them all, they're all fantastic. Now one of them recently he put up, which struck me, was a brilliant little vignette of Tank Girl using a old Sherman turret. I'll see if I can put some photos up here or a link to that video itself. Loved it. Now if you've watched my Object 279 build video, the one from Takom, which I put up, I don't know when I put it up, but I'll leave a link here to where it is, somewhere in the library of reviews I've done. I mentioned that they give you 2 complete turrets, and here's the other turret sprue. And that led me to this great idea because, hey, this is great timing. I'm going to use the spare one, plus a few other things, including this figure from Atelier, the 1/35th scale figure, and some bottles of beer and some spare parts from other tank kits and so forth. And I'm going to do my own Tank Girl. So let's get started. The first mod I wanted to do was to put this Sow-Kopf or pig type mantlet on the front, and to do that I had to remove the headlight that's attached to the original mantlet. So that was easy just to cut off with the sprue cutters, but I found I had to do a little bit of fitting and forebilling later on. The turret halves go together well enough, but as you'll see in my actual review of the full kit, it's not the best fit in the world. So far it looks alright. Got out my Proxxon tool. I love this little thing. It's really easy to modify and change parts very quickly, which is what we need to do with kit bashing. So with the grinding tool out, it's all good. And then with the diamond tip tool, just to put the barrel extension inside the original mantlet, it should all fit together. So I added the original barrel just to put it on the inside there, and it's just a simple dry fit, and with a little bit of an alignment it goes together quite nicely. What's next? Well, I wanted to add a few more greeblies to the top. The original tank's a bit bare up the top, on the top of the turret, so I just grabbed my bag of things and I found this little fence here which has got lots of rivets and things on it, so I put that on the front skirt there, and it was really easy to fit. You know, there's no problem here adding a few parts, and that's in the spirit of this little vignette build. Because basically I'm trying to replicate, you know, here's a tank that survives some sort of post-apocalyptic, that seems to be the rage thing, like in Tank Girl, and, you know, parts from all sorts of things we use to just modify it. So yeah, just adding a few more things here, and with the Tamiya glue. And I think I also got that part off a Spitfire. Now I need to add the original barrel back, and luckily enough, I didn't even measure it. It fits the mantlet. But for this sort of job, oh, the other thing, yes, we need a rocket. Tank Girl had a rocket on her little M5 tank. So I found that off a Chinese APC that I'm using for another kit bash project. I cannot remember why I drilled those holes in the top of that barrel, so whatever, maybe for some wires later on, I couldn't recall. So that's just the rocket rails there, and then the next thing I needed to do was just attach it to the mantlet. I think that's off a Panther 2. RC stands for Revell contactor glue, so I put that into a Tamiya extra thin bottle, and I use that for when I want a bit more play, a bit more sort of time to glue things together. And it just pops on just like that, no problems at all. Okay, let's get started on putting on the biggest problem and biggest idea that I had with this kit bash. I wanted to put a deck on the back, somewhere for Tank Girl to sunbathe. And I got out some evergreen stock, just using that H sort of shaped girder stock, just to think, you know, they just welded some stuff on the back there. And this idea, it didn't really work out too well. It needed a lot of trimming, a lot of finagling and fettling and what have you, just to have it hanging off the back there. And in hindsight, I should have used super glue there instead of just relying on Tamiya glue. And yeah, you can see that big box of parts I've got to the left there. I try to get a lot of things on here, but yeah, the deck wasn't really working too well. So I had to resort to another method, which you'll see shortly, because this was a little bit too low. So I ripped that off and I went and got some planks. from the same kit. I think that's from a LAV Grizzly kit, I think, which again I'm using for another kit bash with that APC. I'm going to make some sort of hover tank sort of thingy. That's for a future project. So this was a lot easier to do. Just chuck it on, put the planks on, level it out with a bit of stock, and then I use the girders at the back for the triangulation to make it a bit all nice and sturdy. Simple solution is usually the best. So there it is there. You can see I've already added on from a Marine M1 Abrams. I've added a few more parts, and here's a big montage of parts I've added from all different types of kits. So we've got, I think that's a Jag Panther or a Panther tank cooling fan on the top. We've got a few more little greeblies there from the original kit to put on as well. I ended up putting on some flare launchers on the front. Got a cupola from an M1 Abrams, which just happens to perfectly fit the original cupola. So that's going to look good. I'll paint that separately in a different color, so it's obvious that it's from a completely different tank. I just think it looks cool, and it means I can fit a big, nasty 50 caliber gun on the top there. So yeah, what else did I put on there? I'm trying to remember. Let's see. Oh, we got some more night vision sights and so forth that need to go on. I think I added one from an LAV, I think, can't remember, so that goes on there. Just had to chop away the very rudimentary periscope attachments that the original kit's got on it. So they just glued on there. Just breaks it up a bit, makes it look a bit more funky. And what else did we do? Okay, yes, from a Sherman tank, if you can recall that point, that bit, that's the stowage basket on the back. I cut it in half because it was too long, and just plonked it on the side there. I thought it looks all right because I wanted to have a little bit of a homage to the Sherman tank that Grungelina, the chap there from Korea, what he did. Now on the side here, this didn't really work. I was trying to again do a bit what he did, and I used some brackets there from another kit that had holes through it. I was going to use that for stowage of, see that, you put the tools in the side there, and it just didn't fit, just didn't seem to look right, so I actually replaced that with something else. Now I needed that's the original searchlight or whatever infrared light that was on the front. I had to make a new coupling, and I put it on the other side instead. I may need to add some extra wires to that down the line, but it looks alright just hanging off there. And then I found some extra headlights from another kit, and I made a dual set of headlights. And if I had the effort and time, I would have maybe put some LEDs in them as well. But no, they look alright just there. Made a little bracket out of sheet styrene and just popped it over the top next to those flare launchers. So you can see those brackets there that I've replaced with those U-shaped sort of hooks on the left hand side there next to the grab rail. It's just a better sort of look. I will add some weld details to those parts and a few other parts, but I think that's it for all the greeblies and additions and changes. So I've jumped ahead a little bit. Let's just have a quick look at what I've done. I've put the tank girl together. Okay, there she is, and you can probably see, I'll see if I can zoom in there and come on, focus up. This leg is separate, so I had to put that on. The fit overall hasn't been that great. It's okay, but as you can see, just under her bust there, I had to fill it. It was either the option of filling at the back there, where the bikini ties off, or filling at the front. It's easier to do it at the front. I've also, if you can see in profile, not safe for work, I reduced her bust a little bit. It was a little bit ridiculous. I don't know what it is with some of these sculptors. They like to make big boobs, and they're big enough. I reduced them a little bit. The arms are just put on then, and they're glued in place, but they need a bit of filling, and just, yeah, the fit's okay. It's a really, really good sculpt, don't get me wrong. I mean, at every angle, it looks beautiful, but yeah, so I'll just let that set for a bit, and then I'll get some Mr. Surfacer. That's what I'm using, the 1200 as a filler. Okay, and that's the easiest to wipe away and the smoothest I find with figures. So moving on to the tank, what I've done is I tried to do this on camera twice and I just couldn't do it. But I've made an umbrella. Okay, so it's a basic umbrella. This is the antenna from an M1 Abrams set or something, I think, and that's just some sheets, some styrene, some of this stuff, evergreen stock. It's not quite square, it's not perfect, but it's good enough for my purposes. And then the other one, which was really, really fun to make, I scratch built a deck chair. Okay, and again, that was just using styrene stock, pretty much all by eye and by hand. And yeah, so it's to scale. I was actually using a German World War II tanker for my model for that. So it's big enough for a man, but you know, big enough for the tank girl as well. Now what I'm going to use for, well, hang on, before I go ahead, last few things I did on the tank, and then I'll wrap it up. And I need a pointy sticky thingy, and I'll use this because it's exactly what I use. This is from Uncle Night Shift. All right, Martin Kovacs, if you know him, he shows you how to do weld details. And what I did, I had a few pieces that have been kit bashed on here that needed to be welded on in real life. And let's see if that zooms in properly. But that's just rolled up milliput into little sausages, and then you use this little tool, which is just out of an aluminium can, to make weld seams. Okay, so I've done it around there on this hanger. I've put a big one here and one on that side. Then around the other side, I abandoned, you probably saw before, I abandoned the idea of putting some stowage racks here. I'm using these ones again from an M1 Abrams set or something or other. Can't remember where I got it from. Getting a bit closer there, Chris. All right, you can see that. And it's really rough welding because I wanted to show this to be, you know, pretty amateurish, just chuck it on sort of thing. And the idea for this is I'll be having, you know, things shoved in there like shovels and, oh, can I get it out? Shovels and axes and so forth will go in there. And while I'm here, I've added a bit of wire detail to there and to the rocket. And that's pretty much it, apart from adding the stowage, which I've got off camera here, and a few other little pieces. Let's have a look. Oh, got to have the gun. So I've got the 50 caliber, which just mounts on there. I've got quite a few little things I'm just going to add on. Okay, found a little dog. Well, let's put a little dog in it, why not? Won't call it penny, we'll call it half penny. Lowe's hatch, yeah, so I've just got a few little things, you know, stowage, that sort of stuff, helmet. I might grab some more things, but I'm pretty much ready to go to put that on. I'll keep this off and paint it separately, and I will add a stowage rope. That's why I left these hooks on to go all the way around underneath the deck, the back deck, what do you want to call that, and I'll hang some stuff off there as well. So next stage, I need to make some canvas. So let's go over there. Okay, I need to make a canvas tarp for my umbrella and a backing thing for the deck chair, and I tried a few solutions and I came up with this stuff. This is basically like it's like baking paper or something, I guess, but it's a lot thinner. This is what you get to back your decals, okay, when you get a new kit. And I've got quite a few bits of that, so I cut out a piece for the umbrella, and I think that's the right geometry. It may not be. I've done a test fit and it's kind of good enough. I should be able to, I might tear off a bit where it bunches up. We'll give that a go. And then for the deck chair, it's just a simple case of making a rectangle and doubling it over, okay, and sliding it through. So I'm going to try to do this on camera, and what I'm going to use is some acrylic type PVA glue. So you've got the MIG, is it MIG? Yep. Ultra glue for photo etch clear parts. It's basically just a PVA type glue. You could use something like this, canopy glue, or just basic PVA. I'm going to give it a go, see what happens. So stay tuned, let's have a look. Start with the deck chair, and what I'll do is on the top run, I'll just put a little bit of glue of this stuff. I'm not too worried it's too thick because I want the canvas to be pretty thick. And looking at that deck chair, I need to add some rivets and some you know, bolts where there's these points that obviously pivot. Do that later. Alright, so we'll grab the piece that I've cut out and just thread it through the top and get it to just hold there on the top, in the middle. Let's get a cotton bud. Where are my cotton buds? Or Q-tips. Why do you call them Q-tips? I got no idea. Okay, I'll just dab that down and clear away the excess, and I'll just do a test fit, see if it goes around the other side. Where are my tweezers? Oh, I'm really prepared here, aren't I? What's going on, Chris? Okay, I'll just use the bloody paintbrush. Okay, so put there like that. You got to do it on camera or they won't watch you, Chris. And get some tweezers. You didn't hear that. Because the funny thing is, I've actually packed away most of my modelling, well not my favourite modelling tools because I'm going on holidays. So I've got to use my secondary stuff here. So that kind of fits. What I'll do, I'll let that sit. Okay, I'll let that sit, and I might have to do a bit of that off camera. I had the geometry wrong when I was trying to put, I thought I just cut it out a simple square. No, I need to develop this instead. So I've cut that out in a different shape. So I'm going to try, instead of using white glue, I'm going to just use super glue and get this going. And again, probably another element I'll have to do off camera because, yeah, there might be a lot of swearing involved. So hopefully when we get back, this will be done and the construction side will be finished for the tank girl. And there we have it. Basic construction is done. I've mocked up a few things, bit of stowage, and I've got that canvas tarp on the umbrella. It needs a bit of a trim on some of the edges there, but that's okay. It looks all right. I might even add some wear and tear to it. And then I've got the deck chairs working all right there with the decal sheet. Does a good job replicating canvas. I was going to make that out of rolled milliput, but that was a lot simpler. So there we are. It's the construction side, like I said, is done. Bit of filling and just cleaning up of the figure, and I'll get straight into her when I get back from holidays. And then she's just lost a wheel and she's just lost her helmet. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that little build. It's a fun build. It's something different. I'm losing parts left, right, and center as I move this around. There goes the deck chair. There goes something else. Okay, and yeah, stay tuned for the next video. Cheers.